Yeah, thank you everyone, and welcome to this month's office hours session about channel marketing's new program, Share It with Atlassian. I'm Kaylin, and I'm on the channel marketing team in EMEA, and I'm joined by a number of my colleagues. So we have Krishja, who also is on Atlassian's channel marketing team in EMEA, Austin on the channel marketing team for APAC and AMER, as well as our content marketing manager, Nisha. We also have Kristen from the corporate social team, Masa, a social media lead for Jira and Bitbucket, and from community, we have Bridget. So a full house today, and big thanks for everyone who can be on this call today. Just a few housekeeping notes. Please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen to send us questions. We will collect them and answer them at the end. Everyone is here to answer your questions, so ask away. This session is being recorded. And as you can tell, we're going to launch a few polls, so it would be great if you could answer those. Great, so before digging into the details of Share It with Atlassian, we want to emphasize the importance of building a content marketing program. Publishing blogs or articles allows you to detail where your expertise and focus lie, and it's a place where customers can find information and learn more rather than being sold to. And finally, you establish yourself as a trusted source among your customers and the industry. And here we just want to highlight a few of the strong content programs already in place among our solution partners. So here we have Lucia, the marketing specialist at Transition Technologies, who says that their blog has been especially useful in capturing new customers and educating them about their solutions. By mapping your content strategy to the customer journey, you're able to reach people at the top of the funnel through lead generation tactics, all the way down to sales enablement and product-specific content.
This is Austin here. I wanted to just share a little bit of information around what one of my partners, Go-To Group, has been doing for the past several years, as I've seen them as a good example of having a good content program. Today, Go-To Group is creating assets that specifically address customer pain points. As we can imagine, this is creating content that's really relevant to their customers and helping them. And as they do this, they're also creating content that is funnel specific. So making that consideration content, all the way down to, content that's helping customers make a decision on purchasing a product or a solution from Atlassian. And all of this content is helping them have a good SEO presence and helping them with content across social media and their website. And also an interesting thing that Go-To Group is doing is syndicating this content that they're creating across third-party websites. This is allowing them to get farther reach, and some of these websites are actually guaranteeing a certain number of leads to be returned to them. And then also with this paid content that they, with the content that they've created, this is allowing them to create paid social media ads and have unique content to drive customers too. And then from what they're doing, just to touch on some of the benefits that they're seeing from doing this, this content's been key to having more website traffic, also to bring more traffic to their social media pages. It's helped them build credibility as a trusted expert within the Atlassian community. And ultimately, this content has allowed them to generate more form fills, which has equaled more leads for them. So in overall, I feel like they have a pretty comprehensive program that really comes full circle as far as generating the content, putting it out on other channels, and then generating leads in the end for actionable follow-up. So Now I want to turn the time over to Nisha, who's going to introduce a brand new program to us.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. And as is the topic of today's office hours, we're incredibly excited to introduce this program to all our solution partners. Shared with Atlassian, solution partners have an incredible opportunity to share their published content over Atlassian's social channels, right? And this helps your business in two big ways. One, you can be recognized among thousands of Atlassian's social media followers as a thought leader on a particular topic. And second, you stand to gain highly valuable exposure via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And as Kaylin shared earlier, content is critical for lead generation. And any mention may help bring increased visibility for your business and eventually new leads. So if you've published thought leadership content like a blog article, a case study, or a white paper on a topic that's relevant to Atlassian, you're invited to submit it and share it with us through this program. Kristen Roth, our social lead, will now talk to you about our wide social reach and presence across brand and product.
Yeah, hi, so I'm Kristen. As Kaylin mentioned, I work on our Atlassian corporate overall brand social media channels. And our brand corporate channels focus mostly on very high level thought leadership content that anybody, so even those who don't use Atlassian products at all, can benefit from. So if you've ever taken a look at our blog Work Life, you'll see some great examples there of the types of content we promote on these channels. So things such as leadership content, productivity tricks, remote work content is especially hot for us right now, although we are producing quite a bit of that at the moment, of course. You can see great examples there. So we use social media as a very, very top of funnel channel, which really helps us to build our overall brand awareness. It helps us create engagement opportunities with folks across social, and it helps our customers build trust in us as well. Our products each do have their own Twitter handles as well, which we'll talk about in a bit. They feature a mix of product tips, tricks, news, thought leadership, feature product announcements, and they also help us with promoting our Atlassian-wide news in general as well. And as far as engagement goes on our channels and the type of visibility you'll expect to receive for your posts that you do share with us, it's really variable and depends on the specific content itself, but you should expect to see between 5,000 and 20,000 impressions on a LinkedIn post, a Facebook post, or a Twitter post from us. So that'll give you some great exposure for all of your content that you share.
Hi guys, this is Masa from the Bitbucket and the Jira Twitter leads. So I just wanted to go over, as Kristen was talking about, we do have different product handles for these kinds of social platforms. So you can see we have Confluence, Jira Service Desk, Bitbucket, Atlassian Marketplace, Atlassian Market. So everything that you are curating for content, just be mindful that, it's not going to all be on the corporate Atlassian kind of channel. But if it is product focused, we do have these Twitter channels. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That's a shameless plug. But yeah, just be mindful when you are creating this content. We do have product focused handles. So some content might work better on these.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that tip, Masa. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, of course. But here's how you can get started with submitting your content, right? I'd say the first step is actually to review the content you want to share with us. The next slide will give you a sense of what topics we're looking for, and Kristen and Masa will even share what type of content makes the cut to get featured on Atlassian. So once you have that in place, fill in this Google form that you're looking at right here with all the relevant links and description. Keep it as detailed as possible, but we made it super simple for you to add your content. It's a Google form. Kaylin has just added the link in the chat room, so you'll find that over there, but eventually when you get this deck as well, the link is in there, so don't sweat it. It's all good. Next slide, please, Austin. Yeah, so here's the criteria we're looking for in terms of topics to submit, right? So if you've written about things around teamwork, collaboration, productivity, leadership, future of work, or in the case of specific products like, Bitbucket, Jira Service Desk, for example, We love coming across content that highlights how our customers are using our tools. Or if you have apps and integrations, tips and tricks, or a point of view on a solution like DevOps, ITSM, or Agile, please consider sharing it with us. If you want examples of this kind of content that we're looking for, you'll find it on the program page at bit.ly/Siwa Atlassian with a capital SIW. Again, that link, Kaylin will post in the chat room and you'll find it in the deck as well. And of course, since we've been doing this for over a month now, we've had a number of partners who've submitted their posts to us. And in fact, recently we've shared a post from these partners that you see right here. So big kudos to them. And there's much more coming down the pipe, actually. So we meet frequently as a team to review posts that are coming in. And we've already tagged a couple that we'd like to include in the future. And to talk to you more about how we accept posts and what's the criteria for that, we want to be very transparent in this process. Kristen and Masa will talk to you about it in the next slide.
Yep, so we are a little bit picky, I guess I could say, about the types of content that we share on our social channels. Of course, they need to be well written. And then for corporate thought leadership brand channels, of course, they're product agnostic as well. We don't want there to be too much branding. We don't have a lot of branding on our own articles. We don't have Atlassian plastered all over the place. They're just thought leadership, very helpful resources for people. Another important thing to note is that we don't accept gated content. So it needs to be something that the customer or the follower can click to and read right away. We don't have them go through collecting email addresses and names there.
Thank you, Kristen. And then I will take over this slide for the rest of the requirements. So as Kristen said, trending content is great, but at the same time, we've all seen the remote work from home. I know that one's getting a little phased out, even though it's still a big kind of item. If you do use certain products, which I think most of you do, so say you use Jira or Confluence or Bitbucket, it's really good to show in what way you're using that. So if you do have a product focused kind of blog, then we can showcase it on our Twitter handle that correlates with that product. So if you are using Jira or Bitbucket or anything like that. So you can do kind of more, we don't really say evergreen, but more kind of overall content for corporate. But if you do have product focus, which a lot of you do, make sure it really focuses it on actually the process and maybe more of an example versus just heavy branding, having logos everywhere and some sort of demand gen. It is okay to have some sort of kind of form input at the end, but just be mindful that people really just want to be educated first. So if we can lead them with that type of education, they're a lot more likely to actually read through. And then for non-English content, so we really would like to focus on more English content because that is what we market more to our community. We don't have any Twitter or Facebook specific kind of targeting that we usually do for language specific content, but this is only for thought leadership articles that we can share on our LinkedIn that we can target organically. So just be mindful on the content that you're curating. And if you have questions for language specific content, you can go to the partner team, Nisha and Kaylin, to ask that.
So just to clarify, we will consider some non-English content. Is that correct?
Yes, but it is more for LinkedIn. So it's kind of a case by case, right? So it's not like, oh, if you have something in Japanese, we're immediately going to promote it. We have to vet it through in-house as well and make sure that, the content is up to par. So that's not really saying don't do it or shy away from it, but we do focus a lot on more English content that we can promote to the global audience.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that, as Kristen shared earlier, we have two presences on social, right? So there's the products focused presence mostly on Twitter, and as Masa shared that we can hyper target in a specific language on Twitter, unfortunately, but on Facebook and LinkedIn you can do that. But on Facebook and LinkedIn, we have an Atlassian brand presence out there. And Kristen is looking for content that meets that broad thought leadership criteria, like, future of work, leadership, collaboration, etc. So what we're trying to say is that if you have non-English language content that you've produced that meets those broad thought leadership topics, consider sharing it with us, because we could hyper target it on LinkedIn, for example. But if it's product specific, it'll be impossible to do that on Twitter. So that's kind of the way to think about it. I hope that's clear for everybody.
Yeah, so think of language specific as corporate overall, and then yes, product specific in all English.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I wanted to talk more about the type of content that we are looking for as social gatekeepers. I know that sounds weird, but we are the gatekeepers to what we promote on our social Atlassian channels. For the types of blogs and content, it's really important to do this kind of insightful, educational type of piece. What I mean by that is just show, like mentioned, what are you doing with the product or the service? How is it integrating with your business or company as a partner? What is like a success story that you have with a customer? All those are great. Tips and tricks are great. Things that are really personalized towards your company are wonderful, because it really shows other people how they can utilize that product or service within theirs. And you can have lead gen content, but make sure to kind of put that more at the bottom, somewhere that you're not incentivized or needed to sign up right away to read some sort of content. So we don't do that type of gated content, but lead gen forms like sign up for an email, find out more. It's totally fine to mention that at the bottom, but we really just want to catch people more and educate them with the content versus that.
Awesome. I'm just going to pause for 1 second here, just to say thank you for sending in questions. We are getting those, and if they're not answered while we're going through the presentation, rest assured we'll answer them at the end. I am going to share another poll now, and it would be great if you could answer it. It's about what marketing activity generates the most business for your company. Yeah, I think it's no surprise to see that events are in the lead here. Yeah, I think we know that just from experience, that it's good to get that face-to-face with customers.
Can we see the responses?
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I think people are still voting. I'll give it 5 more seconds. I wasn't counting, but yeah, so yep, events followed by email marketing, which is great, and then blog. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, Nisha, if you would please go over the expectation and SLAs for Share It with Atlassian.
Sure. So in the spirit of keeping all things transparent, we want to share our SLAs with you. We're getting a lot of submissions from partners every day, in fact. So please expect 10 business days from the time you've shared your content to know if it's going to be posted or not. In fact, if you haven't heard back from us by then, it's likely that we did not consider your post to meet our criteria. Austin, Kaylin, and Kristia will maybe reach out to you with feedback if we think it's great content, but it's just not a fit for sharing on Atlassian. If your post does get featured though, you'll of course get notified immediately as we tag partners on Twitter. And Austin, Kaylin, and Kristia will also email you that a post is coming up. And of course, social isn't the only place that you should be thinking about sharing your awesome content on. So don't forget about Atlassian community. And here to talk to you more about this is Bridget.
Thanks, Nisha. Hello, everybody. I'm Bridget from the community team, and today I'll be talking about weaving community into your marketing strategy for 2020. And I know 2020 is already upon us, for better or for worse, but it's never too late to add community engagement to your 2020 goals. So we already have a lot of partners who are avid community users, and what we've heard from them is that it's a great tool to build their brand, boost awareness, and gain insights to what customers are talking about. And the community gets over 2 million visitors monthly, which a fun stat about that is it's more traffic than any other Atlassian site combined. So it's where all the users are hanging out. And so it's a really fun place to be. So how do you build your brand, boost awareness, and gain insights via the Atlassian community? I'm going to break it down into the online and offline-ish worlds in the next slides. So for the online community, there's a number of actions you can take. As you know, Kristen and many others on this call said, it's important to remember to balance the educational content and the marketing content. And so on community, we kind of give our partners the guideline of 90% educational content as if you were kind of sharing information with a peer or with a coworker, and 10% marketing content, because of course we want you to be able to promote your product or services. And as many know, that's what wins credibility amongst community members and kind of gets them to accept you as one of them. So just some things that you can do on community are answer questions. There's over 1 million to choose from on all products and different topics. You can write articles both about your product or about some of those industry trends that Kristen was also mentioning, thought leadership things. And of course, you can join community groups, which are groups on community are kind of divided by geography. So there's maybe one for your city, and also industries. So perhaps if you're more focused on, med tech, that's where you want to hang out and talk to customers. So on the next slide, I'm talking about community events, and it's really cool to see that so many of you get so much business through events. And as you probably have guessed, we have pivoted to 100% virtual events via Zoom. And these events are hosted by our Atlassian community leaders who traditionally, for the past 10 years have been spinning up user groups in their home cities. So we have 120 groups globally, and, just getting their communities together to connect. I know there's a lot of questions about how partners can be involved in community events. And currently partners can present at community events. So they can give live demos, again, following that 10% educational to marketing rule. They can, obviously attend to connect with their customers, potential and future. As I mentioned before, there's 120 groups globally. In the pre-quarantine days, you could just pop into an event in your city, but now you can, obviously attend any event you want to. So it's great for partners who are looking to get into future markets. And of course, events are an amazing way to get live feedback from, again, current and potential customers. So in terms of leading events in your city, partners cannot currently independently lead events. You must find a community member to be the leader of your local chapter. But if you are interested in spinning up a local chapter of community events, you are licensed to do 3 events to find that community leader. And in the future, we hope to have co-leaders of partners and community members. So on the next slide, I added some information about where you can learn more about the community programs. And I can add a link into the chat, but if you search for community opportunities and best practices in the partner portal, there's a really good page with all of the stuff that I presented and a lot more. I'm so excited to see you online and offline community.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bridget. I'm just going to launch this last poll, which is about community. Are you an active member? Yeah, we just want to make sure that all of our solution partners know that this is a good opportunity for you to engage with people, both in your city and not. It's a great community. Yeah, so we'd love it if our partners engaged. I'll just give this a few more seconds. It does seem that most of our partners are indeed already active members, so that's great to hear. But certainly the others, I'm sure, will join right after this call. Yeah, just sharing these results quickly. Great, so this is where you can find more information about how to be featured on Atlassian social channels. And I think this is probably a good time if there are any outstanding questions, Krisha.
Yeah, so we did receive a couple of questions. Most of them have been answered, and you can find that in the Q&A tab. But we do have a question from Swapnil, where he asked, which Twitter handle will content on data center or cloud migration go? Is there a specific Twitter handle from Atlassian that shares content on data center or cloud migration?
We don't have one. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, but there isn't one for data center specifically, but Kristen, go ahead and share the product connect there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we don't have one specific for data center or cloud, but if there is a specific product you are talking about, it would go on that specific product Twitter handle. And then we'd talk about the deployment there.
Perfect.
And guys, there was one question that I was going to answer, but I'm just going to answer live. It was regarding somebody's question about, can we submit content that features our great customers and stories? For sure, definitely. That's great content that we love to share. So yes, go ahead and share those great stories. We love seeing those.
Okay, so another question that we received from Maritas, aside from blogs, are white papers, ebooks, VODs, case studies, accepted content as long as they are not gated?
I'm guessing most of those would probably feature specific products. I don't think we'd probably have any big thought leadership white papers or anything like that. So I think that would just come down to how the product was discussed and the product teams, if they felt that it was a good fit for their specific product Twitter handle.
Yep. So we are accepting, if you have a point of view on a particular product or a solution, like we said earlier, please share it. If it's not gated, even better. We'll definitely take a look at it and consider if it meets all the subjective criteria that Masa and Kristen shared. I do want to call out video though. We've had a couple of entries of partners sharing long form videos, like webinars that they've done. Masa, do you want to share why we did not consider those posts?
Sorry, I was answering. Yeah, sorry, I was answering a question.
No.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure.
We didn't share posts for.
I'm talking about the long form videos we got recently. There were a couple of full blown webinars.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we usually don't share that type of content in general on our social media channels, just because content like videos, people usually stop viewing very quickly. So we try not to share videos and snippets on the social feeds like Twitter that are more than like 2 minutes, I would say. So if you just have a long form piece of content, it's not as, I would say, appealing for people to sit there and watch the whole thing. I really suggest doing kind of like a piece by piece or take one part of the video and maybe promote that on a blog you have, or we can embed it on our Twitter channel as a video. So just think the content that you have is not just one piece of content. And that's what we do in social is we can take something that's like a white paper or maybe a long form video on YouTube, and you can actually make that into different pieces of content depending on the certain points that it gives.
I actually have a question, probably for the reviewing team. What if partners are writing about marketplace or plugins? Is that content that we would consider for sure with Atlassian?
Yes, absolutely. We do have those stakeholders also reviewing content. They're not on this call today, but yes, those people exist. And we have, they maintain 2 separate Twitter handles. So Marketplace is if you have, I think someone had a question about, hey, I have an app that I want to write about or some plugin. Yes, if it's a value, you can share that with us, and that team will definitely take a look. Or if you have example, like, for DevOps, like we have a lot of partnerships with other companies. And if you have a point of view on how those integrations work to fulfill a solution like DevOps or CI/CD, etc., share that with us, and we have that team who's looking at it as well. Yeah, and I think we posted something recently from Atlassian Market. Yeah, one of our partners had done some good stuff.
I do have another question with regards to webinars. Is this something that we will consider as well? I guess what Danielle was asking here are recorded webinars. Will this be considered for SIWA?
No, I think like Masa shared earlier, we don't encourage long form content. It's not something that we put up on social. So at this point of time, no, we're not considering sharing webinars, like full recorded webinars that you would find on Twitter, no. However, if you're talking about promoting webinars, that's something else altogether that we can do. And Austin, can you share how we promote webinars?
Yeah, of course, Nisha. So today in the partner portal, if you go to the partner service desk, you can raise a ticket for event support, and that gets routed to myself, in which case we can set up promotions for an event or webinar on the Atlassian website. Within the Atlassian website, we have a partner events page, and then we also have product and solution pages, event pages that is, where we can add your events, and then customers can link directly to your registration pages to get signed up. And then we can also set up a events page on the Atlassian Facebook page, so that gets shared as a post and then also stays on the Atlassian events page to be found up until the time of the event. Typically for events, we recommend 60-day promotion windows and 30 days for a webinar. And so you can raise one of those tickets within the partner portal, or you can email myself, Kaylin, or Kristia with just a link to your event or webinar, and we'll get that put up quickly. And then just know it takes about 12 to 24 hours for the Atlassian website to republish so that the event goes live.
I know we've been getting comments on the bit.ly link. I just want to call out that it's bit.ly/capital SIWA, small case TLASSIN. So make sure you're typing all caps on SIWA, and then it would work. So yeah.
I think that's it for questions. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think there are any other open questions we currently have, and nothing's coming in. So I guess last call.
Yeah, if that's the case, the next slide is just a little bit of promotion for our next session. So Office Hours is a monthly session. It's a great opportunity for partners to come and ask the channel marketing team any and all questions, and we'll present around a topic. So June's topic is going to be around how to drive customers to your website. It would be great if you could join us on the 18th of June, and we'll send a registration link in the follow-up email. Yeah. Oh, do we have another question there?
Yeah, it's talking about social paid promotion. Oh, no, actually, if they have their content shared on our social channel, is it for social paid or only organic posting?
It's only organic posting, no money behind it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Those are some great questions. So thank you very much. And thanks to everyone on this call. I know it was difficult to get us all together, but it was really great and useful information. I'm sure the partners found it very useful. So thanks very much. And yeah, we'll talk soon. And yeah, bye.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
A good day.